Kia ora. Ko Te Whānau-ā-Apanui tōku iwi, no Te Kaha, ko Orabalo tōku ingoa. I'm from the lands of Te Whānau-ā-Apanui, the tribal lands on the east coast of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and my name is Orabalo Tūkaki. We are sitting on one of our sub-tribes, our hapu lands, and our beautiful community houses called marae. Just behind me there is the whare nui. That's our tribal meeting space. And just to my left over there is where red tide is happening. And so we are sitting in our traditional lands having a conference, an Indigenous conference and connection around climate change.
There's some common experiences with colonization that we need to confront when we think about the stoppage of oil and gas drilling permits. That's something that carries over to British Columbia. That's something that carries over to anywhere where there's extractive industries that are active. We need to strategize collective ways to counter some of these extractions and counter some of these negative impacts on our communities. It's a way to build up each other. Cherokees have a saying, Diga da chela'i, which means we belong to each other. It's like a large family in some ways, an extended family. And so we're building our family, we're extending our kinship networks.
Well, I've noticed a lot of similarities even though we're so far away. And I think it's really important to gain these relationships through different cultures and peoples because at the end of the day we all go through the same things and have the same problems happening in our territories, even though we're far apart.
By having people all around the globe sharing increases the possibility of developing methods and pathways in order to retard the damage that has already occurred on our planet.
I think it's important to build these relationships primarily because I think it's important to support each other in the challenges that we face nowadays, and I think it's also important to just learn and grow and appreciate one another's cultures for what it is. I think one thing we can do to uphold our cultural values is to be present within them and to experience them for ourselves. So whether that may be going back home and dipping and bathing in our waters or just climbing our mountains, our maungas, I think that can really ground us and connect us.
Our approach from each nation has been centered on culture and centered on our ancestral connection to land, water, and animals. And I think that approach will really take us a lot further than maybe a Western approach.
The biggest way I try to act in a climate change aware way is by teaching my son little things like that, how to take care of a garden, how to sit in a moment of reflection before we start eating, to question things.
And so from beginning to end, the Red Tide Summit has opened the circle with protocol and with ceremony of these territories, and also finishing in that way as well. It centers Indigenous nationhood, the authority of our knowledge keepers, elders, with the focus on the traditions that bring our new young ones and babies into the world, situates the state at the periphery.
Yeah, I've got a young family of children who are 5, 4 and 2, and we only speak Māori at home, ensure that our children grow up with Te Reo Māori as their first language, and we take them out as much as we can so they get familiar with the bush, they learn what plants are there. We just show them as they're little kids and then they can point them out. We teach them to recognise them as our equal, so they greet them.
Indigenous peoples, to my way of thinking, have led the charge in the care of our lands because of our connection to it, our spiritual connection, our heart connection. Everything around us that surrounds us is imprinted on our faces, is part of our DNA. Like any tide, it starts with a drop of water. And when you put that drop into the water, slowly other drops start to follow. And then a wave starts to come, and then suddenly you have a tide, and then suddenly you have a tsunami. And this kind of mass wave can be a wave of cleanse. It's not a wave of destruction. When you put all of our thinking together, when you put all of our actions together, we can make a tide, hence red tide.